Did Justin Baldoni's publicist actually just write a whole response in a Facebook post? I always thought the number one rule in advertising, marketing, publicity is stay quiet unless you have to, especially when a lawsuit's pending. So this is what's going around right now. This appears to be Jennifer Abel. Demois posted these screenshots saying it came from some sort of Facebook group for publicists. I don't know if this is legit or not. I can't imagine that she would have posted a response like this knowing that this could be going to a lawsuit, but let's go through it anyway. So she writes, "Hi, I never thought the day would come when I needed to defend myself with my own peers, but this certainly has been an interesting and devastating, quite frankly, couple of days. So here we are, but here are the facts. No, I was never subpoenaed. I found out my private text messages and emails were included in the complaint after I received it on Friday night, and then the New York Times contacted me 1.5 hours after receipt. They had already reviewed the 80-page document and had questions prepared, and apparently also received thousands of pages of documents with our correspondence that we never saw. So it was clear this was a coordinated effort, but nothing we haven't seen before since I've been working in talent PR for over 15 years now. I had recently left my previous firm, at which I was still with during this campaign, with a team who all participated in the campaign and a boss who oversaw, and who had access to all my emails and phone during this, so you can deduce what you want from that. So by that, I'm deducing that her old boss and her old company were the ones subpoenaed, so her boss gave all her work texts and work emails to Blake's team. What the cherry-picked messages don't include, though, not shockingly, as it doesn't fit the narrative, is that there was no smear implemented. No negative press was ever facilitated, no social combat plan, although we were prepared for it, as it's our job to be ready for any scenario, but we didn't have to implement anything because the internet was doing the work for us. Sure, we talked about it, contemplated if we needed certain things, flagged accounts that we needed to monitor, worked with the social team to help us stay on top of the narrative so we could act quickly if needed. And yes, we rejoiced and joked in the fact that fans were recognizing our client's heart and work without us having to do anything but keep our heads down and focus on positive interviews for our client. As the texts show, we sophomorically reveled and again joked privately to each other about the internet's feedback to the woman whose team was making our lives incredibly difficult over the course of the campaign. I'm human. So she is admitting that these are all her text messages that have been released. The long hours, months of preparation, on top of our day-to-day scope, it felt good to know that although we were prepared, we didn't have to do anything over the top to protect our client. Incredibly difficult, you say? In what way? Funny you should ask. I was notified at the start of the campaign that the opposing team had been planting horrible stories about my client as a fail-safe if my client did not comply with the demands set forth for the campaign, which is why we brought on Crisis, as it's not something that I do. My sole job was to put together interviews, screening opportunities, and speaking opportunities for my client in support of the film, a standard scope of work. I did my job. Now, what kind of woman would work against another woman who was a victim of all the things being claimed? Thanks for asking. After reviewing the evidence, facts, hard proof that countered every single thing that was being claimed and demanded at the start of production, I made a choice to stand by my client of almost 5 years who had dedicated his life to the equal treatment of others, especially women, who had no incidents of negative treatment of others, and who had a wonderful community and team at Wayfarer, who all held the moral fortitude and lived their lives accordingly. As representatives, we all have to make that choice, so I did mine to the best of my ability and felt good about our efforts. Is my client perfect? No. In fact, he says that he's not perfect so constantly to the point I tell him he needs to be less self-deprecating because it could be taken the wrong way. Are Blake's feelings valid? It's not my position to say or speculate what she was feeling in these moments that she claims, and I would never slam a woman for speaking her truth. But at the end of the day, if it's not the truth and there is evidence that proves otherwise, then as a representative, I have to do what I feel is right as well. So what do you think? Do you think that was really Jennifer Abel, his publicist, going and sharing a post like that during a legal battle, or do you think it was someone pretending to be her? Either way, we always know there's 3 sides to every story: his, hers, and the truth in the middle.